Hello and welcome to my video today. As you well know, I have been covering Lectron EV charging products for many years on my channel. They do make high quality charging adapters and EVSEs. Well, today I have the new NEXUS line of electric vehicle charging stations, and this one I made a couple of choices on. You can choose a plug-in 40 amp 240 volt option with a NEMA 1450 plug, and that's what I did since I have one of those outlets right next to my vehicle. Or you can choose a direct wire version, and that has 48 amps. In addition, you can choose between NACS or J1772 handles. And for the first time, I'm going to be choosing a NACS handle since most EVs now come with a NACS port or will be. You can use it with an adapter if you do have a J1772 vehicle. So I'm going to be unboxing and showing you everything about this new NEXUS line of EV chargers. So let's get started. So here we have the box. Let's take a quick look at it. We see the Lectron NEXUS right here. It also says it includes a NACS mount for the wall, and it is compatible with all NACS EVs and J1772 EVs with an adapter. This is level 2, comes with a NEMA 1450 plug, max of 40 amps, and as I mentioned in the intro, if you want 48 amps, you need to do a direct wire connection and not use the plug. Let's look on this side here. Up to 9.6 kilowatts of charging power. Built-in safety features, I'm going to go over that in more detail. And we have specs: input voltage 208 to 240 volts AC, 50-60 hertz, maximum output 40 amps, maximum power 9.6 kilowatts, connector NACS or the SAE J3400, cable length 23 feet. We have enclosure rating of IP66 and NEMA 4X. We have an operating temperature of -22F to +122F, and the housing material is high-strength polycarbonate. In the box, we have NEXUS EV charging station, mounting plate and hardware, NACS mount, and installation guide. Since we're on this side of the box, I want to mention the 4 big changes for the NEXUS line of products. First is automotive-grade engineering. The same standards as Lectron applies to developing charging hardware for other EV manufacturers also went into this product. There are additional certifications. The previous EVSEs had UL 2594, which was mechanical and electrical safety based on materials used, mechanical strength, impact testing, vehicle compatibility, and GFCI protection. In addition, it had UL 2231, which is for protecting individuals from electrical shock hazards. The new certifications are UL 2251, which covers the plugs, receptacles, and the vehicle connectors up to 800 amps and 600 volts. And UL 817, which governs the safety and construction of the input power cords and molded plugs like the NEMA 1450, includes strain relief, temperature limits, and durability. And the third improvement is that the cords are now 23 feet long versus 16 feet in the previous models. So you get extra reach in your garage, or if you're charging outside your garage, to the vehicle. And lastly, the fourth big improvement is IP66 versus IP65 rating. This has protection against dust and rain. And the big difference between 66 and 65 is high versus low pressure water jets. So it offers superior protection for exterior locations. So better protection against damage from water. So let's open it up and take all the items out and see what's in there. On top, we have some foam padding here. So good protection for the main unit. And it is inside of this padding here. I am going to just lift it up. And underneath, we have the metal mount, which goes to the wall. I'm going to place that out of the way. Let me lift up the foam. Here we have a bag. Inside that, we have the hardware for mounting to the wall. And we have a QR code here. And this is for the user manual. So I recommend reading that before use. This is a hook for the wall for the cord, so you can wind up the cord and put it on this for organization. And here we have the NACS holster, so you can plug in the handle into this so that it is neater. So there's some screws and mounting for that. And here is the rest of it. So I'm going to move this out of the box so we get a better view. So here we have the main unit itself. We have the pigtail here, which has the NEMA 1450 plug on it. And then we have the charging cable here. And at the end, this is the NACS handle. And it comes with a little rubber cover here for protection against dust and debris entering the contacts. So that's probably a good idea to keep that covered when it's not in use. So pretty solid handle here, very compact. I'm going to go and stretch out the cables and give you some measurements. In the meantime, here's a closer look at the case. There is a layer of plastic protection film on there. I'm not going to remove that until I finish the installation, but it's a very robust unit. We have some more information on the side with the specs. And then we have extended warranty here with that QR code, so make sure you do that. And here's what the top looks like. We have a button on the side here for reset. And then on the back here, we have this metal plate for attaching the mount. And I think this will also offer some cooling since there's these ridges here. So that will help. And that's about it for the main unit. So let's go to the measuring and then I'll place it on the wall and show you what it looks like. So here I have the cable stretched out and back to the unit. Just counting the cord itself, I'm getting a total length of 22 feet 4 inches. However, if I include the handle, which is 8 inches, I get a total of 23 feet exactly. If you're interested in knowing the thickness of the cables, let me check that out right now. For the pigtail, we get 20.7 millimeters or 0.81 inches. And for the 23-foot cord, I'm getting 15.1 millimeters or 0.59 inches. So the length of the pigtail cord only is about 19.5 inches, and the total length is 23.25 inches. So here's a view of my wall. I have a slat wall system, which makes things easy to store and move around on my walls. So I don't have the normal stud or drywall that is exposed. If you are using the mount and the hook and also the NACS plug holder right there, you're going to be using those included screws. And if you are attaching to studs, you would just drill into the studs, and then you would have these mounted where you want them to be, usually somewhere near the outlet. I am going to add this to one of my wall mounts, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'll mount the EVSE box to that. And since I have some wall hooks, I'll be using that instead of this for holding the cable when it's not being used. But if you did want to mount something on your wall, it would probably look like this. And then you could mount the handle holder right here or anywhere else, depending on how you want to do the storage of the cable. So here is the slat wall mount right here. I attached the Lectron mount to it with 4 screws and nuts. Obviously that doesn't come with the kit, but I just happen to have that and use that for the mounting. On the top of this, it slides into the slat wall. So I am going to put that on the wall right now. There are 2 screws that I can tighten so this stays in place. If you're mounting this on a wall with studs, I would probably do it in this location. It is roughly 10 inches from the edge of the mount to the center of the outlet, and the bottom of the mount matches up with the bottom of the outlet. I found that this combination of location works great. Now I can take the Nexus box. On the back here, there are 2 openings, and they're going to line up with the 2 tabs that are on the top of the mount. So all you have to do is angle it over those tabs, push it down, and it will be nice and level. In the hardware kit, there is a security screw along with a hex key, and that will go on the bottom here. So you can see the opening right here. I'm going to insert the screw into there and then tighten it up. And here you can see it is now attached, and now it is locked to the mount so it won't fall off. Also gives a little bit of security for this location. Can now take the pigtail here, remove the protective cover, and now I can insert this into the outlet. And since this is installed, I can remove the protective plastic from the top of the box. There we go. So here I've coiled the cable, and now I can just put it on the hook right here. Let's have a closer look at the setup here. Here's the Nexus on the wall. And there we go. So now we can do some testing, and I happen to have 2 EVs, one with the NACS and one with the J1772. By the way, if you do have a car with the J1772, you could use an adapter such as this one. Lectron makes Tesla to J1772 adapters for use, and then this could charge both types of ports. So it doesn't matter which vehicle you have, This has the ability to do both. So here we go. I have my Tesla Model 3 in the garage with the charge port right here. So let's go test it out. First, I need to make sure that the power is on for the Lectron, and there we go. All right, so this is what it looks like with the power on to the Nexus box. So I just need to take the cable, take the cover off the end, and then I open up the charge port and insert, and there we go. So you can see that the Tesla logo there is blinking green. That means we are charging. And when the car is charging, the box LED turns a pulsing green. So you know the current activity based on that LED. When you're done charging, just press the button on the handle right here, and that will stop the charging, and you can release the handle. Now for my Fisker Ocean, I'm going to be attaching the J1772 adapter to the Tesla plug, then put that into the charge port. So let's pull this around. So even with the Nexus box on the other wall and my car with the charge port on this side, there is still plenty of length with the 23 feet of cable to reach this side. Open the charge port and then insert the plug. So with the cable plugged in, you can see it is green. Solid green means it's charging, and there we go. When done charging, just press the button at the top of the adapter here, and it will stop. And now I can remove it from the port. When done charging, just simply roll up the cable and put it on the hook. All right, well that about does it for the video today. I unboxed and installed and did some testing on the new Nexus line of Lectron EVSEs. This charging station offers 4 advantages over their previous models. It has automotive-grade engineering now. It has 2 additional certifications that bring a total of 4 UL certifications. We have a longer charging cable of 23 feet. And lastly, it now has an IP66 rating, which should give more protection against the elements. If you're interested in purchasing the Nexus line of charging stations or any other item from Lectron, I have the link in the video description. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.